Welcome back to the Armchair Pundits podcast. Once again, we'll be discussing the results of this weekend. As you can see, this week you've only got myself and Leon, but we had a lot of games, a lot of interesting games, and a lot of goals scored over the weekend. So we'll get straight to it. In fact, first of all, where's my manners? How you doing,
Yeah,
Leon?
not too bad, bro. Happy New Year and all that. 2024.
For real, Happy New Year. Haven't seen you for a long time, mate, since last year.
Joker.
That old one. But anyway, good weekend for yourself. Good weekend for myself, football-wise. So, as you said, we should discuss Liverpool as we're top of the league. So I don't mind that. Normally, I start because obviously it's my team. But let's just twist it around this week and your view. How did you see the game?
I thought it was a very dominant performance by Liverpool. Probably your best wall-to-wall performance of the season, I think. Whistle to whistle, I should say, because it was constant pressure. It was almost like the Liverpool of old when you went on your title run. Like the pressure you put on Newcastle was ridiculous, and it was only a matter of time before you were going to break through. I think the XG had a record XG rating. I don't know how long XG's been out, but some ridiculous
7.21.
rating for XG. You had a bag of chances as per usual. But I think it bodes well. I mean, Newcastle haven't played that well away from home. They've had a couple of big defeats now against some of the biggest sides, but you can't discount how Liverpool played, and they really wanted to go into that game, especially with Mo Salah leaving, with how much goal contribution he's had. It was an important match for you guys to get a win from, and yeah, great performance. And it seems as though your strike force is all the other strikers or forwards are now coming into a bit of form, a bit of confidence, because Jota scored, obviously winning a dodgy penalty also. Gakpo scored in the last couple of games, and Nunes scored, I think, against Burnley, didn't he? So, your backup crew are ready to hopefully, well, for you guys, deal with the fact that Salah won't be there. So very, very good performance. Newcastle, I mean, people keep saying about they've had injuries and people have been coming back, but you have to say that over the last I think since the Champions League, they haven't really put a consistent string of performances together. They've been very inconsistent, really. I think they've lost as many games as they've won this season. I think they've lost. I think they've won 9 and lost 9, which for them is a major drop off from what they did last season. Last season they obviously didn't have Europe, and although they were very unlucky, and at the end of the day they finished bottom of their group, and they've paid the price probably for not having such a big squad and paying the price of all those injuries. But credit where credit is due. Liverpool did their thing and they got the win.
Yeah. Listen, for me, I think Daryl said it a few weeks ago. When we smell blood, like, we're just on it. Like, we proper pounce. And I think that performance for me was, the one word I used was relentless. I won't lie, I was hella frustrated because I just saw us creating chance after chance after chance. And when Salah missed the penalty, I said to some other guys, again, he seems to do it every year around this time of the year. It's normally before New Year's. Around this period, he misses a penalty, and it costs us normally.
Well, also cost Egypt,
didn't it? We draw the game or we lose the game. Yeah.
January.
So I was like, I was threatened, I'll be honest, because I just had a feeling that we're going to get sucker punched. And then when they equalised, I was like, see, I just knew this was going to happen. Bro, I'll tell you what actually happened, yeah? I couldn't even watch the penny. I knew I was going to watch the penny. Me and my daughter were watching it, and I just said to her, watch it. But I said, we're going to miss, but if I see you celebrate, I know we scored. I knew he was going to miss. I didn't even watch it. And he missed. I was like, see, I knew it.
Because you didn't believe,
But
James. You didn't
then,
believe.
hey, it's not my fault, bruv. He telegraphed it too much, and he said himself that he got confused by something that he did, so which made him change the way he normally wanted to go. But beside that, they showed their class, their fighting spirit, and Jones, who is one of the first I'm going to talk about. Fantastic performance from Jones. I think either at the end of last season or in the summer, Darryl asked me about Jones, and when I talked about new midfielders, I was like, no. He's just a squad player. He's going to fill in here and there, but he's not a starter for Liverpool next season. It can't be possible. But he's proven me wrong.
Of late.
Because yes, he's a squad player. Of late, yes. But to be fair, before the injury, or before the red card against you, he started off the season really well. Then he got red carded against you, missed the games, and it was 3 games because it was a straight red card. Then he got injured, then missed more games. And when he came back, he couldn't get his place back. But now he's got his place back. The last 3 appearances he's come back in, he's played really well. So credit where credit's due. The talent's always been there, but it's the application. Now he can control games. Now Klopp said it himself, he likes to slow down things. Now he's getting the tempo right. And it's coming up with a goal here and there. First league goal of the season, so I won't say he's counting the goals. Because they're halfway through the season, he's got his first league goal, I believe. I think it's his first league goal anyway. But I'm just happy with him. Unfortunate, Endo again, another great performance. I thought it was quite interesting. Obviously, it always happens. Salah got 2 goals and assists, so he got man of the match. I don't think he was the best player on the pitch. I think Endo and Jones had a better game than he did. So one of those two probably should have got man of the match ahead of him. But moving on to the elephant in the room, as you mentioned yourself, the 4th goal. A bit of an interesting one because they could have had a penalty where Endo took out the legs of Longstaff, which, in all honesty, it should have been a penalty. Not sure why they didn't go back and check it. But I don't. At the moment, I'm calm with that. And then our penalty, the first penalty is a penalty. Yes, he went down a bit late, but it's a penalty. The second one, there's contact, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite and turn around and say there's contact is a penalty. And I will say it, not all contact is a penalty. And that contact, for me, wasn't enough for him to go down.
It definitely wasn't,
So
because
really
he
and truly,
continued
it shouldn't have been a
and
penalty.
then fell. And that's the other thing is, he had for me, which for Jota would have been a fairly routine round the keeper and scoring. I think he would have slotted that, but it was strange that he did decide to go down so late as well. Which maybe he genuinely thought, no, actually it's too wide for him. But I don't know, man. He shouldn't have gone down. It wasn't a good look for him, but it wasn't overturned. So, boy,
It wouldn't have been overturned because there was contact, and I don't think they often say that's not enough contact. Because look at the Wolves one, where what's his name, Huang. Everyone saw he barely touched Shaw, but they still gave the penalty, and that should never have been a penalty in a million years, just like our one. But it helped settle it for us. So happy. The third guy I talk about, Joe Gomez. Again, he's having such a good season. So I'm really happy with him, and just happy to be top. A little bit clear. Obviously, it's not really a big gap. It's only 3 points. Yes, people say Aston Villa aren't in it, but Man City, as Klopp said, if the whole Premier League is shaking because Kevin De Bruyne is training. so I'm just happy to be where we are now because, like I said, this is now the time. Salah's gone away, and where will we be when he comes back? If we're still in a similar position, 2 points behind, 3 points behind, or hopefully still ahead, then it's all on for us. But that's enough about Liverpool. We weren't the only team that won. You guys had a good victory at home as well, against Bournemouth, who were in hot form. I think they were the informed team in the league.
Informed team.
So
they hadn't lost in 8 games.
You had your own guy.
It was mad. Their run,
which is crazy for them.
But yeah, I mean, I was at the game. It was we got a really, really good start with Sarr getting a very early goal. And we had a couple of opportunities to score after that. But in all honesty, it was quite a lackluster performance initially from Spurs. We weren't at our free flowing best. We were giving the ball away quite cheaply. But I have to give credit to Bournemouth. I can understand why they've been on such a good run. Like they were moving the ball really, really well. Their midfield and the link up play between Solanke, Tavernier, and Sinistero was really, really good. And they created chances. Like it was a concern at a point where, because the opportunities that we were missing made me feel like Bournemouth were going to score, and they probably should have scored before we ended up getting a second, which was completely against their run of play. We ended up winning the ball and had a counter attack against them, and it was the same for the third goal. So both of our, or all three of our goals came from winning the ball in good areas, but realistically, the scoreline did flower us a little bit just because I felt Bournemouth had spells of the game where they dominated, and they were very, very unlucky not to come away with a point. To be honest with you, but credit where credit's due. We dug out the win. We needed it to stay in the mix. We need to stay as close to the top teams as possible, so we can try to get a Champions League spot, or at least Europa League. But I was really relieved that we managed to dig out a performance. That defensively, we did pretty well considering we're playing with two fullbacks at centre back still. After that Brighton game, we needed a response, and there was a response. We had Bentancur back, and Lo Celso started in there in the middle of midfield, and there was really good balance. I think when Sarr came off, that's kind of when Bournemouth took over. But Bentancur and Lo Celso, man, having them in the middle, they're calm, composed on the ball. You just don't feel at ease when you've got those kind of guys in there, because they just know how to deal with the press. And I was happy that we managed to get a win. So I'll take it.
On a sour note, I guess injury strike again. I have Feliz might have an ACL, which is bad for what he's only just come over from Argentina.
Yeah.
And what is 19, 20?
Yeah, it's 20, I think.
Have an ACL.
Very, very bad. If it is an ACL injury,
just as he's,
especially for one so young.
But even if it's an MCL,
just hope that it's a tweak rather than it's torn. You just hope that it's not torn. He was trying to stay on the pitch because we had made all our subs at the time when he got injured, but he couldn't move, poor thing. And it's just one of those where.
Tell that to Hjorberg. Hjorberg tried to pass him the ball when you're through on goal. So like,
I don't
what
know,
was he
mate.
thinking?
I don't know. You got to read the room, mate. You got to read the room, and he just, I don't know what he was trying to do. But yeah, it's unlucky for Veliz. And also, Sarr got injured as well. And he was in tears because I think he felt he might miss the African Nations Cup because it looks like it's a hamstring injury. And obviously Senegal are the defending champions, aren't they? So he really wanted to go and represent his nation. And he still might be able to. Hopefully the injury is not as bad as first thought. But yeah, man, the injury bug strikes again, man. It's ridiculous at the moment. But on the plus side, Richarlison's on the score sheet again, which is good. Son's going to the Asia Cup, so we're going to lose him. We're going to lose Sarr, going to lose Basuma. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but we've got to hang in there, man. We've had a lot of setbacks with injuries, and we've managed to stay where we are in the table. Has been pretty good, to be honest with you. So very much pluses rather than negatives to look at.
Well, Arsenal fans will be sitting there thinking they were cussing you guys your start to the season and all your injuries, and what? It's only 1 point between you.
1 point, bro. They've been talking a lot, and obviously they were in a very, very good position. But I think that's a nice segue to move on to the next game, isn't it? Really,
it is indeed, because boy, as another podcaster said, Arsenal's Christmas and New Year's was ruined.
Well, they were top at Christmas, weren't they?
The results. Yep. And now they're fourth.
And I swear Henri was like, whenever Arsenal are top at Christmas, it's never good. And he said it. He said he's not doing no predictions because he knows. He knew.
That's why I didn't want to be top at Christmas. We've won the league once, and I think we've been top at Christmas like 5 or 6 times.
In
We've
your
won the league
history, is
once.
this history?
So when I said to you, Premier League one, yeah, Premier
Oh,
League history.
I thought you meant history.
So
History.
no, not history. No, Premier. Well, football only started in Premier League started, innit? So it's our history. But no, so I didn't mind, in all honesty, that we weren't top because we just took it afterwards, innit? It's
Literally
cool.
the week later.
But Arsenal were just placeholders. It's cool.
Well, they
But I
held the
said it from
spot.
the beginning.
They held the
What coming
spot,
first or second?
the Poison
Arsenal
Chalice
placeholders, bro.
for a week at Christmas, and I mean, look, the table is tight, man. Between yourselves, Villa,
Yeah,
and
it's
City,
nothing.
there's nothing in
It's
it.
nothing.
And for all of the problems that City have had, obviously losing Rodri twice, dropping points in all the games that he's not been there, not having De Bruyne, not having Haaland, and they're still in the mix. Arsenal were looking great, on form. Maybe not taking chances, which has been their biggest problem, really, not taking chances in the final third, because their front three is actually one of the worst front threes out of the top 5 teams, I think.
Bruv, they scored less goals than Salah, their front three. They scored less goals than Jared Bowen. But Jared Bowen himself has scored more goals than Arsenal's front
There you
three
go.
combined.
It's not
It's not
good.
good. It's not good. And there was a lot of talk last year about how potent Martinelli and Saka are, and sometimes it's just too much. People forget they're both young, both under 22, if not under 23, and it's all new to them. And then you add in more game time. Saka's always playing, doesn't get rest. Martinelli always playing if he's not injured. And then you throw in Champions League. You lose experience in Xhaka and Partey, who obviously Partey's often injured, so that experience isn't always there. But it just seems like Mikel hasn't got the balance quite right yet. It's still time for him to get it right, but it doesn't seem like the balance of the team is where he wants it to be, hence the results. But normally we say a lot about Arsenal.
One thing I was going to say,
But
I think where they're kind of
yeah,
paying a price at the moment is that their play's been a little bit predictable, which last season it wasn't. You didn't know where. I mean, the goals have been spread around, but as you said, the front three haven't really contributed as much as you would expect from a goals perspective. But it's just, their place is predictable. So like even, I mean, Fulham and West Ham. I mean, West Ham just they just said we're going to defend and play on a counter attack, and it worked. Fulham had more of a go, but what I've noticed is that, especially with Martinelli and Saka, whereas like we did praise Saka early in the season for not being afraid to use his right foot or go on the outside, but I
yeah,
felt like the last couple of games he's tended to not bother trying to do that, and when he cuts inside, most of the time the DMs are helping the fullbacks. So when he comes inside, he's getting clamped, and it happened
yeah,
basically every time he did it against West Ham. It happened, and it seemed like Palhinha was doing the same thing for Fulham the other
yeah.
day. And because with same with Martinelli, they both like to come inside. It's how they play. It just seems like it's a little bit predictable. So I think knowing
I think
Arteta, because we know what he's like in terms of how he wants his team to play and whatnot. I think he will try to find ways to you know um be a little bit more unpredictable, but at the same time, I think it's still that number 9 issue. Nketiah and Jesus are
it's not just that though.
not goal getters like that.
You look at it, and even how they were moving. Ben White's not doing what he was doing before. Ben White was always up and down, charging outside of Saka. He's not really doing it anymore.
But is that because of
So
what
it's almost like
Arteta's
they've
told?
changed their
Like he's
stuff.
trying to do inverted now because everyone else is doing inverted.
Yeah. But they'll do it. But they were doing
They were
inverted.
doing it
Remember,
with
Man City and them were the first two to do it. And Zinchenko, he's not on the same form. So he was doing it inverting really well last year. Listen, other clubs are smart. Let's just get that right. Everyone said that our problem last year is we got found out, which is why when we did the inverted, it all changed for us. we didn't lose a game after we were inverted because what we were doing before was old. Maybe a lot of the teams have worked out what he's been doing all the last season, and they found a plan for it because it's now their third look. They had 2 looks at it last year. They've had a third look now, and they've found a way to get around it. And like you said before, the other teams are better now. A lot of teams have really good
Mm.
players in different positions. It's not how it was before, where you had one decent player and the rest of them were just trying to stay in games. People aren't trying to stay in games no more. They're trying to win games. And even if they're trying to win games by just counter-attacking, the level of the coaching and the level of the players is improved because of the money in the league. And then Arsenal may have suffered from that because West Ham and Fulham are 2 teams that, on their day, they can get something from these kind of
Against
games.
anyone as well. It's like they're
Yeah,
that type of team. Both of them really. On their day, they can beat anyone, and that's how the Premier League is. Apart from the bottom 3, you always feel like when you go to certain grounds, it's always going to be a tough day for you. So it is what it is. But it's not doom and gloom, man. Again, they're only 5 points behind. It's nothing. It's still early days. There's still 18 games left. Plenty of time for things to
yeah.
change. And I don't think they're as affected from African nations as some of the other teams in the league.
No,
I can't think
no
of
one.
anyone.
Partey's not even
Well, there you
going.
go. And he's injured anyway. They ain't
Partey and
missed him.
El Neni
Mm,
might go, but El Neni doesn't play.
mm-mm.
So, but but the last thing I'll say, because it ties into it, no one would have thought that when City went to that cup, the World Club Cup, that come New Year they'll be ahead of Arsenal. It's crazy. By the first of 2024, they're ahead. So there's a lot of work to be doing. So that moves us on to Man City. A lot of people thought they were going to batter
Nope.
Sheffield
Chris Wilder effect, man. That
United.
guy knows how to
Yeah.
get, in particular, Sheffield United to be very, very difficult to beat. And he's all, that's the type of manager he is.
Mm?
But with Sheffield United, it always seems to be that thing. He's just one of those, um, managers where the players he seems to get a response from the players. And, I
Yeah.
think, I think,
They buy in.
They do buy in. I think West Florian is very lucky to still be the number 1 keeper because some of the howlers that I've seen him have this season, man, like,
Hmm.
boy, if it was at a more high profile team, it'll be problems. But realistically, I can't see him surviving. Man City, it was a very, very it was just a standard performance from them. Rodri with a really, really good goal.
Yeah.
And then a nice team goal for Julio Alvarez's goal. I think Oscar Bob came on and played a great ball to Foden, and
Hmm.
it was a great finish at the back post, or great ball to the back post for Alvarez. But yeah, just the normal Man City win. They've survived without Haaland and De Bruyne pretty much but De Bruyne the whole season, and Haaland for the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've won a trophy and they're only 3 points behind you. Oh no, 5 points, 5 points,
5.
but they got a game in hand, haven't they? They got a game in hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We should drop it to 2.
yeah,
So
so it's for them it was being damage limitation, and they've managed to limit the damage because they're still very much in the mix. And we've now got the January window, so we'll see what happens if anyone brings the checkbook out.
still think it's City's title to win, or you still think
I
they'll win
think
it?
it's City's title to lose. I think they're very motivated by being the first team to win 4 in a row in the Premier League. I also, you know, feel like it's actually difficult to say. I think it'll be really tight, which is what we want. We want it to be a tight race, and we're hoping that as many teams can stay in the hunt as possible for as long as possible. But I just feel like with those 2 coming back, a fresh Kevin De Bruyne and a fresh Haaland, mate, it's going to be problems. Like literally, Haaland has scored so many goals that Salah's only just caught him up, and he's been out for weeks. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So if Haaland is back soon and De Bruyne's back soon, think the Premier League is in trouble, mate, because we know that City can win 12 games on a bounce like it's nothing. And if those 12
Yeah.
games include playing the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, then you know they're going to put themselves in a great position to win the league.
Okay. So we move on to the other side of Manchester, and boy, Nuno Santo
Yeah,
Espirito
man,
doing it
former
again.
Tottenham manager, former Wolves manager. He does well with I'm not going to say average players, but he does well with, you know, the less high profile teams. And you saw how he done with Wolves, especially his first season. Wolves played really, really good football at the time. And I think
Yeah.
things just dried out. I think things just dried up a little. They couldn't score any goals towards the end, especially after Jimenez had the fractured skull. I think the goals just dried up for Wolves.
They stopped giving him money as well. Remember, they
Well, yeah,
stopped buying players.
they've been
Oh,
stopped giving all their managers money for years because of financial situation.
mm.
But yeah, coming to Nottingham Forest, it was obviously going to be difficult. Well, we thought it was going to be difficult for him to come in and steady the ship, but he's done really, really well. 2 wins already. Very, very, very good performance against United. Although Michael Turner tried to do his best to give the game away.
Oh man.
I mean, it wasn't just the one that led to the goal. There was a few times where his distribution was very, very poor. And he to be fair to him, he made a couple of really key saves to keep them or keep United at bay. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Forest have played really, really well the last few games. A win against Newcastle away and a win against United at home. You can't really ask for any more than that. And Morgan Gibbs-White with a fantastic finish at the end, a very good counter attack
Oh yeah.
for the
Yeah.
goal, and yeah, just another very, very poor performance from United. Really, you just don't know what United's going to turn up, and I think some of their former players have said they're unreliable. It's very, very true. You just don't. They're very unpredictable. They're very unreliable. You just don't know what version is going to turn up each week. And the fact that they came back against Villa and then you come up against Nottingham Forest, who, they won one game against Newcastle. They're on the wave of a new manager, but still, you expect to go to those games and get a win. And you didn't really feel like any point
Is Ten Hag
they were going to do that.
getting off lightly? The other noise around the club allowing him to slide under the carpet, because let's be honest, the team isn't better than Nottingham Forest, so they shouldn't be going and losing like
The
that.
team is better than Nottingham
The
Forest, you
team that he
mean?
puts out, sorry, yeah, it is
Yeah.
better. It is better. They've got better players than Nottingham Forest do, and but still, there's just no sign of how they're going to play structurally.
I think there's a lot of work to do, and realistically, it's been coming for years. I think that's the reason why Ten Hag does have a bit of leeway. I don't think he's sliding under the radar because fans have been saying, you know, we keep changing managers, keep changing managers, and everything is still the same.
Just
Like
keep him in
most of the managers
place.
that have come in have always done well their first season. It's the second season which has always failed them, and it seems to be the case again. It's where history repeating itself. Ten Hag finished fourth and got Champions League last season.
Third.
Third. There you go. They finished third,
Mm.
and managed to win a trophy as well. And so for me, it doesn't make sense to just get rid of the coach, even though I understand if I was a Man United fan, I'll be like, what the hell is going on with this team? Because there's no reason why each week we can't get a win. But I think they just need time. They need to sort things out. And I think until Brailsford and Jim Ratcliffe do what they need to do, I don't think it's worth changing the manager yet.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. See if they get any money over this January window. But we'll move on. We'll briefly talk about the rest of the games. Not much detail, but just to run through them. So Chelsea, they found out, like everyone else, it's not easy going to Luton. You can get a win, but you're not going to get it the easy way. 3-0 up, and they could have lost that game
Bro, it's
4-3.
mad. The chances that Luton had and some of the decision making in the final third. The same thing when we played them. We won
Yeah,
1-0, but it wasn't a comfortable. It was, they had us on the edge. Luton they'll be unlucky if they don't manage to stay up, because against the big teams especially, they've played really, really well. And I think if they can muster up some wins against some of the lesser teams, I think they'll stand. To me, they have the best chance of staying up, even though I think they've got a worse team than Burnley. I think from my heart and the way that Edwards sets them up, they've probably got the best chance of staying up out of the bottom, out of the three clubs that got promoted.
yeah. I just don't see it happening. Only team I can see dropping down if they don't get Tony firing is Brentford. Everton will pull away. Forest will pull away. Palace, now that Eze is back, I think they'll pull away. I think the bottom three are probably done for.
I
But
think Brentford will be fine once
which
Tony's
moves us
back.
on to which moves us on to Aston Villa. Aston Villa
Hot
sitting
on your heels,
high,
mate. Hot on your
second in
heels.
it, second in the table, only 3 points behind. Boy, with 10 men, sorry, against 10 men, which was a bit of a soft second yellow card. But for the penalty, it's even a soft penalty. Like, I don't think ours was a penalty with Jota. I don't think
It
theirs
was
was a
soft,
penalty
mate.
either to win the
It
game for
was
them.
soft.
It was super soft. But this is the kind of games you need to win in it if you're challenging for a title. And they believe, some of their fans believe they are in the challenge for a title. And the way they're going, you can't really say much against them. They've won more home games than anyone else in the
But
Premier
all this
League.
stuff about not
9
being in a
wins and
title
1
hunt,
draw.
bro, if you're near the top of the league, you're in a hunt until you're not. You're in the hunt until you're not. And right now, they're maintaining it. They've had a couple of setbacks on the way, but they're still right there. 2 points behind you, 3 points behind you guys. It's nothing. So
Yeah.
fair play, man. They've hung in there, and it'll be interesting to see what happens again after the transfer window closes. Whether anyone really spends any money and changes, or has a signing that changes the game for anyone. Be interested to see.
Yeah, last 3 games, Wolves just demolishing Everton 3-0. I
Wolves have
mean,
been getting
Hwang
goals all of a sudden.
and
Cunha and Hwang have
yeah,
been just doing bits,
Hwang,
man. Cunha's looked really
yeah,
good.
and Neto's back
Yeah, I
now as
know.
well.
He had a chance late on in that game.
He snuck in there,
Yeah,
innit?
man. Pedro Neto, and he looked sharp as well when he came. I was thinking, maybe be a bit tentative, but he looked sharp, man. The Wolves have really done well with Gary O'Neill, and
Yeah,
I've been really impressed with how he's kind of changed the trajectory of that team, because they had problems scoring goals, and now they seem to be finding the net. So
they're clear, bruv. 28, they're on 28 points, and Luton on 15, so they're clear of relegation. So credit to them. Everton, they had a little bump after they got deducted the 12, their 10 points, but they've fallen back in now, only 1 point from safety. But I still think they'll have enough. It's just one of
yeah, they've
those
had a tough run of
games
fixtures, to be honest
that
with
can
you.
happen.
And
Yeah,
so they played City, they played us. I mean, going away to Wolves is not an easy thing to do, but
not
yeah,
anymore.
I think they've got enough in the locker, and Sean Dyche has got a better team than he ever had at Burnley, so I can't see them really
Yeah,
staying where they are. So I think they'll be fine.
yeah. Uh, Palace 3, Brentford 1. As we said, Brentford are really sinking, and Wissa is now gone to African nations. Bremo's out injured. The bright light is Tony is now, well, by the time they play the next game, he'll be eligible to play. Not the FA Cup, but the next league game, he's eligible to play. So they need him to literally to hit the ground running and score literally and win in the game, the next game they play. But the two boys, Eze and
Man.
Elise, whether they can keep them, they both signed new contracts. If they're smart, they've put release clauses in them so that they can leave in the summer, because maybe not Elise, but Eze, I think he's ready to move on and try his luck at a high level. But they're just both quality football players for me.
They are, and I think if
So
they play in a more attacking team, I think you will really see what they're capable of. So yeah, fair play to Palace. I mean, they hadn't won in like 8 games or something, and they finally managed to get a win. So it was
Yeah.
a big one for them. And as you said, Brentford sliding that back down, but with Tony to coming back, yeah, I think he'll definitely help them to stay afloat.
In the last game, it wasn't even a bore draw. Brighton pushed West Ham. They pushed and pushed West Ham today, and just couldn't score. West Ham were digging
As
in,
they do.
and I know Moyes is like, yeah, I know Moyes is happy to get the point, and it's a bit of a shame because Ghana wouldn't let Kudus play. I think, come on, man, that Salah played yesterday. One more day, just let Kudus play, man. I don't know if they got beef with the West Ham
Now they must have had
organization. I'm sure they would.
FIFA or whatever
Yeah,
jurisdiction
FIFA
on
put the
that.
junction said he
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to
So
play. Yeah, but why? Just let. I know that he's their best player. I'm assuming.
nah, he is,
But
man.
just
He
let
is
him play,
Ghana's best
man.
player right now. I can't think of anyone else in attacking.
Yeah, I
No,
can't think of
man. No,
anyone.
mate. I mean,
I know there'll be Ghanaians saying, I don't care about West Ham. We need it for African nations. So fair enough.
now in West Ham, I mean, it's a board draw. Well, not a board draw. It was a 0-0 draw. But for West Ham, they'll see it as a
Yeah,
bonus for them because they've stopped Brighton from leveling on points with them.
scoring.
Well, leveling on points with them in the league,
Mm.
and right now
Yeah,
West
for
Ham are
real,
sixth.
for real.
So for them, it's a point gained. Um, Brighton are a problem for everyone, man. I think as it Arsenal's the only team that I've seen like just literally destroy them, destroy their tactics. In the league this season, everyone else they've caused absolute problems to. So fair play to West Ham for getting a draw, even though it's a home game. Moyes still gets a lot of stick though from West Ham fans. They don't like his style of football, but he's sixth and
Yeah,
they
they
won a
don't, but
European trophy.
they've never, bruv, they've never had this many points at this stage of the
It's
season
mad.
ever in the Premier League. It's the most points they've ever had. So just be grateful for what you've got, and just be careful what you wish for. Because look what
The last
happened
time they sacked him.
today. But it's nothing that. There's that. But look what happened to what we've seen today with Birmingham. They sacked Eustace when he was 5th or 6th, and bring in Rooney, and Rooney wins 2 games in 15, and then now 20th. So Moyes may not be everyone's cup of tea in terms of style of football, but he'll have your club in a strong position at that level.
Yeah.
At that level. But yeah, we'll wrap it up from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share this video. And of course, always leave your comments. And we'll always comment alongside you guys. Anything you want to say, we'll come back at you with it as well. So, take it easy. Have a good one,
You
Leon.
too.
And we'll be back on the weekend.
Catch you later, everyone. Take it easy.